If you've seen our other video on Neverness to Everness a while back, you know that we were already sold on the game solely for the character animations and brilliant urban setting. But there's much more below the hood. This is a free-to-play, urban, open-world RPG set in a modern city with supernatural threats. It sticks to smaller sessions with up to 4 players, where you can just invite your friends directly into your world. The main story stays mostly solo, but once you step into the open world, that's where the co-op begins. You can roam the city together, mess around with cars, and even take part in street races, either against each other or as a group. No wonder it's been called Anime GTA before. And it's not just action either. There are a lot of smaller activities and hobbies built into the city, like arcade-style games, fishing, or even just hanging out in each other's apartments. What a dream in this economy! But if you're looking for something more structured, there are also dedicated co-op activities. One of the bigger ones is a heist-style mode, where your team breaks into anomaly controlled areas, grabs what you can, and tries to get out before things are no longer under your control. For these activities, anyone can jump in together regardless of account progress, which is great. On top of that, there are larger dungeon-style areas with different themes, where you can work together to farm resources. And then there's the more chaotic side of things. If your group starts causing trouble in the city, you ramp up your heat, similar to GTA or Cyberpunk 2077. This then triggers police chases, which can quickly turn into complete messes, with your whole group ending up in solitary detention. Time to break out and cause more trouble. As a free-to-play game, you might have already guessed it. There is a gacha system, but the devs clearly tried to fix common pain points from other games like Genshin Impact, as there are no 50-50 losses, no dedicated weapon banners, and better base rates. Copies of the same character are also less punishing, as you can freely pick and change which ability the copy will unlock. It's not perfect, but a step into the right direction. So overall, this feels less like your typical build a new character every month gacha, and more like an urban city adventure with the emphasis on having a good time together. Outbound is among the top 20 most wishlisted games on Steam right now, and we can definitely see why. Who doesn't wish for a relaxed camping road trip with friends in this day and age? But if you're lacking the van to just start tomorrow in real life, why not first start your cozy digital journey first? And maybe, while you're at it, learn some survival skills too for the next time you're really out there. Just because Outbound doesn't have any survival pressure or combat doesn't mean you shouldn't know how to wrestle a California brown bear. In Outbound, you and up to 3 friends share a single electric camper van, starting with almost nothing and slowly turning it into a fully equipped mobile home while traveling across an open world. Everything revolves around that van. You build onto it in real time, adding rooms, workstations, decorations, and even small gardens, until it doesn't make any sense anymore at all, but who cares? We came here to chill and not to argue physics. Progression is shared, so unlocking new recipes to cook or upgrades for the van benefits the whole group, while resources are gathered individually and then pooled into a central storage. Exploration is just as laid back. One player drives while the others ride along, scout materials, or plan the next stop, with the journey itself being more important than getting somewhere fast. You can even find pets along the way that join you on your journey. It's strictly online co-op for up to 4 players and a pure sandbox mode, meaning there are no story segments whatsoever. Outbound launches on April 23rd across PC and consoles. Just note that you can only play with friends on the same platform, as there is no crossplay. If you love either Capture the Flag modes or Imagine Dragons, and yes, I mean the band, then Last Flag could be your next favorite game. This is a 5v5 third-person team shooter that takes the classic Capture the Flag idea and adds a pinch of hide-and-seek on top. Because instead of just grabbing the enemy flag from the ever same spot and then running home, every match starts with both teams first hiding their own flag across the map, which immediately turns it into a mix of strategy, communication, and a bit of guesswork. Once the round begins, it's all about finding the enemy flag, stealing it, and holding it for a full minute while your team tries to keep your own safe at the same time. Matches are fairly quick, but no pressure. They definitely depend on how well your team coordinates. The game is fully focused on this one signature 5v5 multiplayer mode for now. You can choose a role like flag runner, defender, scout or healer and can upgrade abilities during matches. What makes this especially nice compared to other games in the genre is that your role is not defined by the hero you pick, but instead what you choose to do. Weapon aim is not everything here, as you can adapt your strategy. Maps are packed with routes and hiding spots that allow for more strategies than just open shootouts. So it feels more approachable for different skill levels. And if they got you, well, respawns are instant, so get back into the game. It launches on April 14th for PC, with consoles coming later. It has a built-in chat and voice comms, as well as matchmaking, of course. Oh, and why did I mention Imagine Dragons at the start? Because Dan and Mac Reynolds, the lead singer and band manager, are the co-founders of the studio, and this is their gaming passion project. And if you need more plus points, there will be no microtransactions. But you can earn cosmetics in-game instead, and all patches within the first year are included in what you paid for. In KILN, you play as a group of potheads. Sorry, potterheads? I mean, pottery pieces trying to smash. Guys, I'm telling you, this script is killing me. And now that we're all fired up, let me tell you more about this party brawler. Because honestly, it's definitely among the most creative and original multiplayer party games in years. This is coming from the developers who did Psychonauts and the remaster of Day of the Tentacle, the game that's probably responsible for the jokes like the one you just survived. And the gameplay systems are as creative as can be. You actually play as a team of spirits that first need a vessel. It can be a bowl, a teapot, or even a plate. And you sculpt it yourself on a pottery wheel. Each shape has advantages and disadvantages for the 4v4 pottery war that you'll be facing as a team. And there will be 24 different base shapes and size combos available. The goal is not only smashing your enemy's pots into smithereens, but also collecting water from different sources and carrying it to the enemy kiln. The team that first douses the opponent's kiln wins the match. But don't forget to defend your own. The pots have different roles depending on their size and shape, like a bulky, tall flower vase acting as a tanky water hauler. In between battles, why not return to the pottery wheel and create a lovingly crafted piece of clay, only perfect with a border of hearts, charms, stickers, and a glazing finish. And you can even share your creations with others, or find inspiration in theirs. This game is perfect for teams of 4 players, coming with online co-op only. It will be day 1 on the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with full cross-platform between PC, Xbox and PlayStation 5. But if you prefer making new friends, there will be matchmaking as well. There won't be any in-game voice chat on launch, but you will be able to communicate using various emotes. And if you're all fire and flame now, there will be an open beta running on Steam from April 9th to 11th, so perfect to try it out for free before it launches. You might remember Clean Up Earth, the game we talked about a while ago, that impressed us not only by its oddly satisfying game loop, but also because it's leaving some real-world impact. We're happy to tell you that the game got fully kickstarted and is now launching on April 2nd. If you've missed the episode, this is a first-person nature restoration sim, where instead of shooting and looting, you are vacuuming plastic waste, recycling materials, and slowly bringing polluted areas back to life. As you clean things up, you actually see plants growing back and wildlife returning in real time. And the best part about this is the real-world impact I mentioned before. Because you're not just playing a job simulator here, you're actually supporting real environmental initiatives without spending or donating anything extra. You select an organization in-game that you'd like to support, and during community challenges, just by playing and reaching in-game goals, micro-donations can be triggered. As they say, time is money, I guess. So that means this is not only cozy, it's rewarding as well. And with the mention of cozy, please also don't expect a high-energy adventure game, just to be clear, okay? While you could play this solo, this is very clearly built around co-op. You can jump in with up to 7 friends in private sessions, or if you want some real community feeling, there are large shared maps with 25 players. The maps are inspired by Earth, including the Bermuda Triangle or Area 51, but also have some fun little secrets and Easter eggs of their own. Some maps have bigger objectives like reconstruction projects, for example, so teamwork is more than welcome. For that, it has seamless drop-in, drop-out co-op, either with just your friends or publicly. So anyone can hop in and get to vacuuming. Clean Up Earth releases on April 2nd with full crossplay across PC and consoles. Diablo 4 is getting another big expansion with Lord of Hatred. And this might just be the one that finally gets you to try it out for yourself. Or come back after a long break. And it's not just because Mephisto is ever so convincing. Oh no. The new campaign takes you to the islands of Skovos, where Mephisto's influence is spreading, and you are not having any of that. Structure-wise, it's still the same seamless 4-player co-op across everything, with crossplay and drop-in at any time. They also added a party finder and AI mercenaries in the previous expansion. So you never have to slay demons alone if you don't want to. And once you've found your hellmate, there is even 2-player couch co-op for consoles. How romantic. Now, the biggest addition in this expansion is the endgame overhaul. Instead of just repeating the same activities and wondering where your party went while you were busy checking the latest meta build on your second monitor, you can now create something called war plans. These are basically custom playlists where you chain together different activities, tweak the difficulty, and adjust the rewards to fit your run. So rather than grinding randomly, your group actually plans out a session together. Let's just hope these playlists don't come with as many ads as our Spotify. There's also Echoing Hatred, which is a survival-style horde mode, and the previously added Dark Citadel, where you have to split up and solve mechanics together. Class-wise, we are getting 2 new ones. The Paladin, available early if you pre-purchase, fills that tank and support role that has been missing, while the Warlock focuses more on controlling large groups of enemies, which both fit very nicely into group fights. The Horadric Cube also makes a return. And who knows, maybe if you throw in one too many grey items, you'll get a visit from Sultan Kul and his usual sarcasm. So overall, this isn't just more content, it's also a shift towards more structured group fun as well. If you always thought that sending a 10-year-old out into the world with just one Pokémon felt a bit questionable, don't worry, Pokémon Champions skips all that and goes straight to battles. Also, Ash made his debut back in 1997, so yes, he's now officially closing in on his 40s. You're welcome. But less reality check, more fact check. Pokémon Champions is a battle-only spin-off, no exploration, no gyms, no story, just fights. And while that might sound a bit stripped down at first, it's a concept that works surprisingly well since 1999, when the first Pokémon Stadium was released. However, this one is actually built entirely around online PvP, without couch PvP on the same console. If you want to battle against friends, you each need your own device. And we say device since it first launches on the Nintendo Switch too, but will be available for iOS and Android later as well. But why stop there? In fact, this will be the official platform for the 2026 Pokémon World Championships. So if you have ever been curious about the competitive side of things, expectations for this title are already through the roof. There are ranked battles with global matchmaking, but also casual matches if you just want to test things out without pressure. And private battles, which are probably the most interesting for friend groups, since you can set up your own lobbies and run matches however you like. All modes support both single and double battles. Unfortunately, that only determines the number of Pokémon on the field, not the team size. Talking of teams, Pokémon team building is handled directly in-game, where you can borrow random Pokémons from a ranch or import them from other titles through Pokémon Home, even from games like Pokémon Go. However, Pokémon Home is quite limited in its free version, so if you want to get competitive, this free-to-start title will definitely not stay free to play. And while we are on the topic of paid services, there's also a premium battle pass and even more paid options to use your own Pokémon instead of the limited recruited ones, so keep that in mind. In turn, there are also almost no limitations for mechanics and movesets, so there will be mega evolutions and even exclusive new skills only available in Champions. So if you've always wanted to be the very best, but haven't quite made it in the past 2 decades, here's your chance to try again. But that's all for April. We wish you a great Easter holiday if that's something you have, and otherwise a great time in co-op with your favorite people. And we'll see you again in the next one.